Let me walk you through a situation that you can find yourself in with another person. You come to them, you go to them to bring up an issue, to talk to them about something that's important to you. Maybe you're upset. Maybe you feel like there's something that the two of you need to address your relationship together. And all of a sudden, before you know it, the other person sort of turns this into a huge, major thing. And maybe they try to say something to you when you try to hold them accountable. They say something to you like, well, apparently I can't do anything right. Or they may say, I had no idea that you were seething with this much anger toward me. Or they may say, I didn't realize that you hated me or that it seems like you don't even like me. And in those situations, you come to the table often, you come to that discussion already concerned, maybe a little bothered, worried, or upset about something that you tried to address with the other person. And now that they're saying what they're saying and blowing it up into something else, you've got a new problem. And so you become even more frustrated. Here's the thing. Anytime you are in an interpersonal dynamic with another person, whether it's a family member or a romantic partner, you need to be able to address issues when they come up. And everybody who's an adult needs to be able to handle those sort of adult realities that, in relationships, it requires communication, it requires collaboration, which means working through things together, listening, caring about the perspective of the other person. Well, let's go a little deeper and look at this behavior, what it really means, what's really going on. So, again, you come to them and try to bring up an issue. What you're really doing in the big picture is you are holding them accountable. They have probably said or done something that you have a reaction to, and you feel the need to work through it together to make sense of it. You are holding them accountable. What do they do when you make an attempt to hold them accountable? What they do is they turn it into a big, exaggerated response and really sort of put words in your mouth, what you're saying, when you never said that to begin with. And notice the types of things that they say, saying things like, apparently I can't do anything right, or I didn't know you hated me, or you were so angry at me all this time. What they're really doing is they're playing the victim. Here, you try to hold them accountable for something that's fair and legitimate. And in response, they deflect that accountability. They hold up a big stop sign to you holding them accountable, and they change the narrative in that dynamic. They say, actually, I am the victim. You are the one who is doing this to me. So, what happens in these dynamics is you actually shift from trying to hold them accountable and discuss something for the benefit of your relationship together so that your relationship can be smoother and go better. And in fact, when you do that, they don't like it. They try to control what you are doing and how this conversation is going to end. And they make you shift to comforting them, to focusing on their feelings. And a lot of times in the moment, you're thinking, wait a minute, how did you do that? And not just do it, but so fast. How did you do that so quickly? And sometimes when this happens, it can throw you off and feel very confusing in the moment because of the speed that they shift and flip the script so quickly onto now how you are hurting them. It happens so fast. And the quickness of it is one of the reasons why, in the moment, sometimes you might not even know exactly how to respond or what to say. But overall, if somebody were to catch a snapshot of your expression on your face when it happens, it's probably like a deer in headlights sometimes. Like you don't even know what to say or do because it's so quick and it's so intense. Now, here's the thing that's important for you to understand. All of this, it's intentional. It's usually very intentional on the part of the other person. When they slip into this role of playing the victim and shifting it so that you focus on their feelings instead of holding them accountable, that was their goal by doing this. And one of the most important things that you can take away from the time that you may spend listening, watching this video, thinking about this later, looking at this interaction and what happens between the two of you when this happens is that you realize it's as if the two of you turn into opponents. Opponents. All of a sudden, their reaction, the way they flip the script onto you and play the victim, the way they do that, all of a sudden it casts you and them as opponents on opposite sides, not allies, not on the same team, not confusingly enough working toward what should be the shared goal to have a peaceful relationship, to work through issues, to talk through problems. But you know what? The personality who plays the victim, whether this is your mother, whether this is your boyfriend, whether this is your wife, it doesn't matter. It happens every single day in various types of relationships. Now, something you can say in those moments, as soon as you recognize what's happening, that they are shifting it, as soon as you have the wherewithal to see, whoa, now I realize, now I can see it more clearly what's happening, you can say to them something to the effect of, listen, we both need to get to the point where we don't react so extremely emotionally, where we don't have such strong, intense emotional reactions when we talk about stuff. We both need to set that as a goal. And you can say to them, I'm willing to work on that myself, but can you let me know, are you? You can say that. Are you truly willing to work on that? And if they say, yeah, don't just say, okay, good. We wrap that package up in a neat and perfect little bow and now we're done. Problem solved. It doesn't work like that. You can say to them, holding a serious expression on your face because you still care. The situation probably has not been solved yet. You're going to need some time to figure out whether it has. So for now, you're still kind of worried. You can show with that serious expression on your face and say something like, okay, let's both kind of work on it. And, why don't we check in on this in a week or two? That is holding somebody accountable. You are also holding yourself accountable. It is not just you putting the onus on them that they're the ones that need to change. You are also holding this relationship accountable, that this relationship, it needs to function. It needs to function smoothly. That is the purpose of relationships. The purpose of adult relationships, whether you're an adult and you're talking about an adult sibling or a husband or a wife or a friend, it doesn't matter. Relationships, once we become adults, really the purpose of them is to support each other, not to drag each other down and cause all this unnecessary frustration and conflict. I'm Dr. Seth, psychologist.